We are back. It's day 4 of the APAC Contenders Full Series, and the lower bracket is upon us. Our remaining APAC teams are fighting for their chance to get into the grand finals and face DAF. Unknown and G-Clef, they graciously guided us to this point. Now, Papadaka and I are here to bring it on home. Are you ready, Pap?
Yes, I am so ready, Apara. Ready to be esports' biggest jump scare yet. We've come out of nowhere very late into this season, but man, have the games so far been gripping. I mean, I only have to mention DAF versus Heaven Sent yesterday's games, and everyone's muscles, especially their jaw muscles, must just clench up.
I was definitely sitting on my feet, on my seat, edge of my seat even.
You're standing on your seat.
Yeah, I was basically standing on my seat at that point. But we do also have to acknowledge that, unfortunately, Fade and Six Blow, they have been eliminated. And, you know, we're going to be watching these matches that are going to continue eliminating team after team after team until we find out who it's going to be to face DAF. And I certainly see a lot of hungry teams wanting to go up against DAF.
I know we've got some very, very exciting matches coming up. But man, just really quickly, the Heaven Sent, they've now been sent to the lower bracket final. We will see them again in about a week's time, around Wednesday, for their chance of redemption, perhaps, against these 4 teams going head-to-head today to see who will make it possibly back to the grand finals. Will it be another Heaven Sent versus DAF, or will it be one of these teams that we're seeing today?
I feel like one team that's really going to be putting in a lot of effort and a lot of energy to face DAF is going to be VARREL, our first team that we're going to be seeing coming up shortly. I think VARREL, because of last season where VARREL went against Kraken Esports, and VARREL originally got themselves into the grand finals, then DAF managed to come on top, come through that lower bracket, get into the grand finals. And I mean, I feel like VARREL has a bit of a grudge, so I think we're going to see a new energy come out from VARREL, especially in today's matches, to try and rematch DAF in the grand finals.
You and I, yesterday, we were watching the match, we were like, for storyline purposes, come on, DAF, like, we love you, but go down, make it a deja vu, fight your way back up, but they were just too good.
Yeah.
We came up with a bit of an acronym for them, didn't we, Apara?
Oh, absolutely. We were kind of like, you know, DAF, it seems like, and it happens quite a lot. They seem to struggle at the start. Then they download the enemy team, how they're playing. They adjust their play style, and then they flatten the competition. I think we have to make DAF become download, adjust, flatten. So we're going to check out the overview of our schedule here. Of course, we have 3 matches on each of these days. Most of them have happened now. We're here on Saturday, the 23rd of September. These last 3 matches are going to determine who's going into the final lower bracket match and then the grand finals, which will be held on October 4th.
Yeah, these two going, and we're doing that one too, Apara. We get to do the grand finals. You'll be with us all the way now through to the APAC finals. And I mean, you were talking about it earlier, right? VARREL in with a really big chance in the lower bracket. They're going head-to-head against INVINCIBLE today for their first match.
Yeah, VARREL versus
Invincible.
Invincible.
Oh my God.
Not quite invisible just yet, but
no, they're not out. They're still very much visible.
No, we'll see whether they're invincible enough to withstand VARREL's onslaught, though. As you can have a look at the bracket, how we've gotten to where we've gotten at this point, and as you can see up the top, DAF versus Heaven Sent. It was that 3-2, that really intense match that put DAF into the grand finals, and now it's just a question of who's gonna make it all the way there. VARREL, NGUK, will Heaven Sent just beat whoever gets to the grand finals of the finals of lower bracket to go into the grand finals against DAF again? There's so many questions that are going to be answered with, especially today.
Yeah, Four Eyed Freaks and NGUK as well will be our second match. That one will also be really close. We haven't seen Four Eyed Freaks for about a week now, so it'll be interesting to see how they've adapted to this new meta. But of course, first matchup is that VARREL followed against Invincible, then Four Eyed Freaks and NGUK. And finally, yeah, whoever wins those 2 matches will go head to head late tonight.
it's gonna be. I think we got some really exciting matches because there's something about being in those lower brackets that kind of ignites a new burst of energy into teams. That I think, especially what I'm excited to see is 4A Freaks versus NG UK. I think that match is going to be really intense. I think. 4A Freaks are going to bring the energy, but then NG UK, they seem pretty solid at the moment from what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, they went really, really well yesterday. But I don't want to change the subject too quickly here, but VARREL, they find themselves in the lower bracket a lot. And I'm sure amongst all teams, of course, all of them want to prove themselves, but VARREL consistently in the APAC series, as we've been seeing, whenever they fall, they're always so close to getting to those finals. Can they not slip up this time around?
Yeah, I think that's their goal here, is just make sure that you play it perfectly, don't make too many crucial mistakes, and I think VARREL will probably make it if they just clean up their act a little bit. Meanwhile, Invincible, they've got something to prove here because this is basically Team Japan of the Overwatch World Cup versus another Japanese team. So it's kind of like, who's going to be on top of Japan? Who's going to be those main names that Japan is looking at, especially going into 2024? I think that's going to be a lot about this match. It's going to be quite a brutal one, if I'm honest.
Now, I don't want to do any spoiler alerts with the maps, so I won't, but Plankton coming out here, that sort of shows us that they're wanting to run that Sigma. We know that Plankton is really good on Sig. Maybe a little bit of Zarya, but Plankton really comes out when they need that Sig specialist. Then you've got Cloud and Mint on the supports, and of course Nico, QKI for your DPS. So no Mihawk, that means that they don't want to just, clean shave everyone's heads off.
We're not going to the barbershop just yet, but Invincible, they've got a lineup of their own, and Godsam's coming up first. Once again, that off tank, it's going to be interesting to see how Godsam performs. We've seen a lot of Leon Nocturix, but Godsam here is going to be a big question mark for Invincible. Meanwhile, Daisy and Undersea, they're going to have to keep bringing on those intense plays on DPS that is needed. Undersea, we saw a lot of Torbjorn from Undersea. We'll see if they continue running that Torbjorn. And it's worked out really well. I've got to say, Undersea's Torbjorn has been fantastic to watch.
I mean, anyone that's watched me in the past and Apara, you know how much I love the Swedish meatball, and now that they're meta just gets me so excited. And it's not quite under the sea, but it is Antarctic Peninsula, very close to some waters, some very cold, chilly waters. And I don't know, Sigma might work here, but I feel like a lot of these maps really ask for that Zarya. We have a couple of teams that do like to go back to the Orisa, which is a bit more of a previous patch, but you can make it work in the Brawl.
I think so. I'm certainly feeling like, because we're seeing these two off tanks coming into play, I think we might be getting a little bit of Sigma specialist, but maybe also, I mean, no, maybe they're just more confident on Zarya. I was gonna go with a really hot take of maybe we'll see Ramattra, because especially last season Ramattra was coming out a lot on Antarctic, but I immediately backtraced on that. I don't think that's gonna happen.
That is too hot for Antarctic Peninsula, man. You can melt some ice caps with that take. My goodness. No, I think we will see, it seems like some Zarya at the very least, but on the other side, Godsam seeming like they want to go on Junker Queen. I mean, fair enough too. You saw how well Daft did, right, on that Junker Queen. Never mind. They're like, no, you know what? No, we're going with Zar. Seems like as we wait for these teams to come out, they will go on the sim just to see if they could get as close to the point as possible here. And then switching back to Sojin, so mirrored matchup as we begin our first attack and attempt at the point. Godsam building up that energy.
Yeah, it's going to be a clash up on this high ground at the moment. Just testing the waters, seeing where we want to go. Godsam recognizing Plankton's power at the moment, not going to approach too heavily. Nico going to be the first to be doved here. Undersea needs to put in some work, but Nico taking out their head. That's going to open up this door for VARREL to start taking a couple more names. Kivist did even it up though here, Pat.
Yeah, now it's kind of about waiting, right? Do you just go in down a DPS, but you're up a support? I reckon they could put the pressure on. However, Invincible opting to take the lower ground first.
VARREL got their early cap as well, so now all of this time is in VARREL's favor. The longer they can stagger out this fight and make it in their favor of just time, it's certainly going to be huge for VARREL building up this percentage. Undersea trying to find a way to enter in. Cloud throwing out an amplification matrix, just telling Undersea, you're not coming near me, you stay away. Cookie down, Daisy managing to take them out, Godsam finding Nico as well, and all of a sudden this is turning into Invincible's favor. They just need to finish up these last few stragglers.
Couple of stragglers left, Mint doing some sort of dance on the point there, but there's a nice amount of percentage that VARREL built up, but Invincible able to take it and also retain quite a few ultimates leading into this next fight. Godsam very, very close to that grab. Plankton also has the grab too, and when you don't really have Lucio's too close, I mean, Blink is kind of close to the beat, right? But I reckon they need to use it reactively, Invincible, to take be really aggressive with those ultimates.
Sam just holding it, trying to find where it's going to come out, but it's actually Plankton initiating first with their grab, and Nico's disruption shot taking out two in that grab. There's just going to be a complete turn for VARREL.
Yeah, and Godslam used grab there as well and got nothing out of it. Cookie did fall, but that won't really mean much, to be honest. And now that VARREL, they've maintained the point, Nico with the overclock for the next fight. And these Sojins have been playing so spectacularly right now. It really has been down to which Sojin gets the first pick. Daisy also with the overclock for this next fight. So pretty much a complete echoed ultimates coming to this next one.
Overclock from Daisy. It's going to be a play from Cookie to try and counteract the overclock, not quite leading to too much. Mint taken down. Overclock through an amplification matrix is just too painful. Nico now going to try even up the score here, and with the help of Cloud, they're certainly doing that. Undersea thrown out the blade as well. Managed to find Cookie, but with Zarya right up in your face, you're not really going to be able to get too much more out of that blade. So now it's going to be Nico just trying to clean up these last few picks with the help of Cloud to keep point in their side.
Oh, Apara. Invincible needed to win that one, really. You've got 87%. This is final fight, and they won't even have a full team coming back. VARREL have Cloud's ultimate. That amplification matrix will allow for Nico to put down so much damage. As Invincible, they need to cap this point.
This amplification matrix is terrifying! It's taking out Godsam, it's keeping Cookie alive, and no one was able to touch Pep.
That was brutal. It's like, yeah, you want to come here, have my window of pain. They could not approach that Invincible. Unfortunately, their namesake couldn't do anything for him. Well, whoa, does that give us getting a 4K in slow-mo? Very nice, very nice. But yeah, that was unfortunate for Invincible there. They put a lot of ultimates into that second last fight, but with little to practically no avail. Godsam now actually switching it up onto the Orisa, but Plankton playing a spectacular Zarya. It's going to be hard. You have to play a little bit more passively, I suppose, whereas Zarya, you need to play aggressively. It's about building bubble, mostly off your Genji, let's be honest. But now that you've got Orisa, you have to play a little bit slower naturally.
And it's just, yeah, I think ultimately, this Zarya is going to cause a lot of pain for Invincible's backline, and Cookie is trying to find a way to enter in. Undersea as well going in for this backline here, but so far it is just a stagger out who's going to be the first pick here.
Seems like everyone's going for each other's backlines right now, Opa.
Yeah, and as Cloud taken down first, Blink managing to finish them off, that should open up the door for Invincible to start running through and crushing VARREL. Yeah, ultimately VARREL are kind of respecting it. They're falling back. They're saying, we're going to give you a bit of time, you know, let you gather your troops. And with Plankton going down, Godsam follows. No tanks, but I think Invincible come out on top, Pat.
I don't know. Godslam's fallen. Oh, no. There you go. Cookie's down too. I think this will be curtains. And Invincible, they've maintained the point for at least a little bit longer now as it ticks up to 15%. Plankton in that fight just... They didn't even feel like they were really in it. It felt like a lot of their backline were kind of a bit lost, and that's why Undersea got to take advantage of that fact, take out Cloud really quickly, and now they're they've got points, they've got defensive, and this is where it's really good to play that Zarya because you can kind of engage when you want to.
Cookie trying to find the engagement. Plankton with the speed, trying to run them down. Not quite finding any targets just yet. Blink was falling low, but there wasn't enough support to back them up. Undersea taken down by Nico on the side here, the overclock. Trying to find a couple more victims, but it's actually going to be Nico becoming a victim to Godsam, just crashing right forward into Nico's face. And this is where Orisa can just prevail, unfortunately for Godsam. No more prevailing, you know, no more getting in your face. Cloud is down though, and ultimately now with Plankton alive, VARREL should be able to take the rest of this fight.
He's beat there, VARREL, just so that I guess they could be super aggressive and shut down his point. Hey, Invincible took the point back. That's even more percentage takes, and Godsam is actually back into the fight. They've nearly got Terror Surge, Undersea as well with the Blade, and you've also got Overclock. They might be able to retain the point.
Blade came out, not going to find any victims just yet. Immortality managed to save Nico, and Nico's able to take them out. Grab now as well, onto 2, dashing through Nico. Just cleaning house at the moment. Nico's putting in so much work for VARREL, and you can certainly see it is working out, just slowly working out.
Yeah, slowly. VARREL putting a lot of work, a lot of ultimates into that fight. Ultimately, that sound barrier too didn't really come up very well for Mins. Ultimately, Invincible, they actually got the point back and got easily another 30%. Now they're 87. They've only got to take one more really clean fight to make it that final fight environment. Daisy now with the overclock as well coming back into it. And it's actually Cookie, though. They've maintained a Blade at the very least. Not one thing as well to point out, Godsam now going back over to the Zarya, so it will allow Undersea to be a little bit more aggressive.
Daisy really wants to use the overclock, but it's Cookie's Blade coming out first. Once again, these Blades are struggling to find targets, but Daisy does get caught out. Godsam falling so low. Kivus does take out Cookie within the Blade, but ultimately VARREL were on top and happy with the situation.
I think Invincible as well are quite happy. They made VARREL use a couple of ultimates. Now when they come back, they're starting to build up some themselves. You got Kivus now with that window, oh my goodness, amplification matrix. That'll allow Daisy, especially with that overclock, to pick up so many picks. Godsam as well needs to get that grab back because these fights, especially this one, is so slow that we are approaching final fight territory here.
And Matrix, Godsam's feeling the pain of it. Immortality managed to keep them alive. However, there is the overclock from Daisy taking down Plankton, and that could be enough. That's such a big pick that it turns the point into Invincible's favor, and they just need a clean house, and this will be Invincible's man.
They will, yeah, it's VARREL. They cannot get about Plankton last final. No, never mind. They went on the ball, immediately stopped though. Now we've got a 1-1 situation going into the final map here, and Invincible looking relatively invincible after I felt like the way that VARREL used their ultimates, it wasn't as tight as Invincible. They only had to win with 2, whereas VARREL, sometimes they had to chuck out 3. Sound barrier towards that fight, I think, really hurt them at the later end. They could never quite pick up that momentum, and Godsam Avara gone back to the Orisa for the first engagement here.
Godsam liked the Orisa, so it kind of makes sense. It worked really well early on, and if you can get those early fights, get the percentage, it's so big.
I think with this map more than any other though, this is where it's a massive, is that an emote? An accidental emote from under the sea? I think it was, but it's the battle for the high ground. Whoever can take first pick, usually from the Sojins, should be able to get first cap.
Cookie, once again, just trying to find a way to enter onto the backline, but it was going to be Godsam that time, just shutting down the approach. Cookie really struggling to find a way to enter. Meanwhile, Invincible, they've just gone down to point. They want that early first cap. Cookie's now gone to meet them on point and managed to pressure at least Undersea off. Undersea starting to fall really low, but once again, it's just a slow, staggered out fight. Cloud, the first to fall again. That's exactly what we saw last time. Will Invincible be able to take this fight again and repeat that second point prowess? Undersea missing so many shots there, and Mint was able to finish them off. Plankton, though, down 2 now, and that is a call to just fall back.
Yeah, you do. Once you've lost that tank, there is no getting it back. Mint actually taking out Kivas, so perhaps there's a chance to come in. It doesn't look like they're fully regrouping here as Cookie goes in again and gets a pick from Daisy.
I don't know if I love it or hate it though, because all of this point is going to Invincible. So far, Godsam managing to stay alive though, and now Plankton and Cloud are back. Godsam, the Javelin isn't going to work out in their favor that time as Nico takes Godsam down. Blink is gone, and VARREL took a very weird, messy fight, but managed to make it work.
Yeah, they never like fully regrouped. It was a very soft reset there, waiting for Plankton, waiting for those bubbles, especially for Cookie. I mean, look at that. Cookie, 90% to their blade. Undersea is only a 70. You're going to have to rely on the Ant Matrix from Kivas here as Invincible. They're not changing to the Zarya just yet. I suppose, you know, Godsam has that Terror Surge as they look to take the high ground.
Cookie was taking so much pressure just then from Godsam, but now the sound barrier from both Lucios is going to make Cookie's blade not work out just as well as they'd like there. Godsam does go down though through the amplification matrix. Plankton able to find Undersea as well, and all of a sudden, even with that pick from Daisy, VARREL are back in the game.
Man, Invincible used 3 ultimates there, both supports from either side had to be used. But yeah, the beat from VARREL keeping everyone alive that was stuck in that Terror Surge, hence Godsam now going back to the Zarya. It does make me wonder why not start on the Zarya, because now you're down of not just charge but also ultimate percentage. Plankton still hold. That is a brutal kill.
That was nasty Nico right there, just flanking around and completely wiped out Invincible.
I have to say though, Invincible might take that honestly as a bit of a win. Plankton actually used Grab that fight. Invincible coming back with Undersea and Daisy's ults, and we've seen how big these blades can be. Undersea performing exceptionally well against Six Blow. I wonder if they can do it again. They have to. 88% on the clock here.
Nico, once again, on that flank, popping the overclock. Not finding anybody just yet. Daisy falling so low, but Nico's taking a bit of damage too. Godsam managed to find Cookie here, and now with Plankton taking down Undersea, there's no Genjis for either side. Cloud is gone though, and with Cloud gone, there is not enough support to keep VARREL alive.
Yeah, no, well done, Invincible, for getting that dub. Plankton does get... Why, it's always Kivas that falls, like, just as the fight should be ending, but... I don't know, VARREL, will they come back and just hope and rely on the fact that Kivas might not be back as quickly? VARREL, however, they don't really have any ultimates. Cloud is kind of close, but Kivas has that Amp Matrix for a lot of damage. You could see how on the other points, how brutal it is when you have so much damage coming right through it. Godsam is looking for that charge through the window as well.
That window, it's just going to zone people out, you know, take a different approach. VARREL don't even want to look through the window right now, and Cloud is actually now built up a window of their own, so is able to bring in a lot of damage and a lot of support, trying to keep Cookie alive on this point here. Ultimately, nobody's fallen just yet, and Invincible are happy with this. They're able to take high ground, get a bit of a positional advantage here, and now with Sound Barrier, Cookie has to engage. They have to try and take somebody down, or this fight might be starting to look good for Invincible. However, with Godsam down, that is what VARREL want. No more tank. Able to finally take control of this fight. Blade from Cookie is gonna find Kivas. Undersea though, taking down 2, not even needing to use a blade. Blink falling low, gets finished off here, and now it's just Undersea trying to clutch it up for Invincible in the last few seconds, hoping to make something work. It's gonna go to VARREL, and VARREL take it! They get the point!
Oh my goodness. Invincible had Grav, but they died just as it ticked over. That was so close, Opa. I think we have a series on our hands here.
Oh yeah.
Man.
You can see Invincible are just fighting for their lives and putting in a lot of work to make sure they get into, contention with VARREL. They don't want to look like a team that just gets easy 3-0'd. They want to make VARREL's life difficult, and it's working. I think Invincible are going to take a couple of maps and give us a real series, like you said, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, consistently it's been, near 99, 99 the whole time. It's really been down to that last fight. How has each team used pretty much each of their ultimates, right? Like
Yeah.
towards the very end there, it was really unfortunate because it felt like it was kind of going more in Invincible's area because that fight, I reckon, lasted easily 30%, all in Invincible's favor. But between all that, VARREL, they were poking from so many different angles, building their ultimates, and it really was Kivas there right at the end. It was so unfortunate getting taken out from that blade. And when you lose those healings, it's kind of brutal. So we'll see, can Kivas clutch it up after we come right back?
VARREL up one. However, so far, Invincible are bringing the pressure to VARREL. VARREL aren't looking on top of the game like we were expecting, and maybe they're gonna look a little bit better on this map. But I think Invincible have shaken them a little bit.
Yeah, they're beginning to. They're not invincible per se, but we can definitely see some chinks in the armor of VARREL. But VARREL, they need to hold on with all their life because you do not want this car or train, should I say, just leaving the station. Invincible, giving them away from the platform. I mean, there we did see VARREL. They managed to hang on. They get to the station quick enough, but they're actually up against Invincible, who got a 3-0 against Six Blows. They're not to be pushed around. Yes, they did lose to Heaven Sent, but they were popping off, nearly beat Daff before Daff came in, absolutely reverse swept. But no, they're definitely not a team to mess with here.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a reason VARREL has always been sitting up at the top of their respective brackets, and that's because they are really a strong team. You don't want to mess with them. I mean, ultimately, with names like Cookie, Nico, Cloud, especially, it's not a team to scoff at. Plankton and KSG, both incredible tanks. So definitely VARREL are a strong team. So Invincible taking them like that is definitely showing that Invincible can go toe-to-toe.
Now, for our next map, it will be hybrid, of course. We've seen a lot of Midtown throughout Korean contenders as well as APAC. And, of course, a little bit of Kings Row, definitely amongst the APAC crew more than anything else. But we're yet to see a Blizzard world. Is it too expensive to get in there again, Apara? We haven't seen it just yet. But, man, I was hoping for it, and we are going to get it. With KSG subbing in, Plankton is out. Mihawk is also in with Mint coming out as well. Oh, it's so good to see, Apara. We're getting in. We're getting through the gates.
Listen, I mean, Blizzard World it's sort of become our map, hasn't it, Pap? Every time
it really is, yeah.
Blizzard World comes out, and it sounds like they've respected the Empire. Pap is back, and we're going to go to Blizzard World. So I'm excited to see that. And I wonder if there is a reason for that, just in the sense of it's not super favorable to current metas, and maybe Invincible want to try force something like a Sigma? I mean, it's hard to say why they picked Blizzard World.
We don't have all the subs, but it would be interesting if we get a Winston to come on in for a little bit of dive, really shake it up. We saw how amazing FM were when they're like, you know what? I've read the patch notes of the meta, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick to that Winston. And sure enough, it did work against their opponents. So why I'm saying all of that is Blizzard World, yes, it is a bit brawly in the first point, but when you get to especially the second point with all that high ground, it is so valuable to be able to take that high ground really quickly. Winston 100% gives you that. We've also been seeing a little bit of ball, not so much in APAC, a little bit of in Korean contenders as well, so that's also not off the table.
And it looks like Invincible are keeping God Salmon. So obviously it is just a matter of whatever God Sam wants to run over what Leon is running is why Invincible has chosen Blizzard World. That's the only thing that I can seem to think of, is that, we're keeping God Salmon to run a specific tank. And is it the Sigma?
Sigma? Yeah. Okay. And I mean, look, I know that VARREL are attacking, so they can change at any point in time, but KSG onto the ball with QKI on the Bastion. You know what I would love? I would love to see a teleporting Bastion strat with a ball just swinging around, being an absolute nuisance. But I do doubt it, but I wouldn't be against it. Undersea is absolutely loving the Tourbillon, fair enough too, and it's so good on the defense, especially pushing away the squishies that might want to flank. And I mean, who can forget that awesome buff to the Tourbillon Rivet gun? You can put down so much damage with that primary fire, so I don't mind Invincible's attack here. I mean, defense here.
Yeah, absolutely right here. And VARREL looking like they want to take a little bit of a safe passage at the moment. KSG trying to get into the back line and a little bit of damage from Cookie, but so far it's just who are VARREL going to collapse on?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. KSG, they're just waiting to go in, waiting to see who is vulnerable. NiKo taking out a lot of people, including Undersea. I was about to just say okay, as we get a pause. It was just getting exciting. Dang it. It got so exciting, the game just had to pause for a little bit.
Yeah, Undersea got so shocked by that pause came through, and
his heart gave out.
Oh, yeah, stop, guys, stop, please. I don't know what's happening. I mean, that's a great opening pick for VARREL. They need to be able to utilize it and run over the rest of the team now. I do feel like it will happen. But yeah, without your Torb, a lot of damage is removed, Pat.
A lot of damage and a lot of pressure of the turret was taken out rather quickly, but still just having that Tourbillon right in the back line, it felt like Undersea was like, don't worry guys, I'm invincible, I can take them all down, let me at him. You know that fisticuffs emote that Tourbillon has? It was like that, like right there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was all there for it. I'm never against the Swedish meatball stopping anybody getting to the point, but unfortunately there you had KSG putting some pressure on with the ball swinging around as usual, but then NiKo, we saw how good both Sojins were on either side, and now one of them's gone over to, of course, the 76. A lot of damage comes out.
Now we've heard from production. It sounds like Blink's monitor shut down, so that is why we've got the pause. So yeah, without your Blink Lucio, Blink support just in general, definitely you're going to want to just wait it out. You know, hopefully now Blink is back by the sounds of it, and we should be jumping in very shortly. But yeah, I guess the pause makes sense, I guess.
I mean, if you can't see where you are, it definitely helps
audio
to see
cues,
where you're going.
But here we go, NiKo going in. Oh, QKI and KSG just putting in a lot of work. Daisy's gone. Yeah, as we expected, Pat. VARREL take it nice and quick.
Nice and quick. I mean, Blink was still probably getting it, used to their surroundings once again. Once the monitor's eyes were opened, KSG going very far forward, actually taking an aggressive position. I think NiKo might be following suit, at least been under there, applying a little bit of pressure. But KSG is really the one to. I think. No, they're not going to fall back. Why would you? I was about to say, why? No, they're trying to build up mines to get everyone off the point. The high ground, so that it is easier for someone like Cookie to just burn them down.
Now, Godsam trying to hurt the people on payload a little bit, but Cloud's flanking. Has that Captive Sun? That could be big, Pat.
That actually could be, and Kivas actually has a Captive Sun nearly ready to go. Early Immortality Field drop, actually, from Blink. He won't have it if VARREL decides to go in super hard, but they do have the Amplification Matrix here. A couple of ultimates, surely we shall see.
Captive Suns from both teams. NiKo felt it, but managed to escape. Cloud, however, found Daisy, found one of their targets from the Captive Sun, now managing to keep NiKo alive throughout the damage that Kivas was bringing out. And once again, without Daisy, a lot of damage gone. Undersea now taken down as well. Amplification Matrix thrown out, but everyone forced off the high ground, so can't gain as much value out of it as you were hoping for. Godsam's still able to shoot through it a little bit more. Minefield now, just forcing everyone into uncomfortable positions. Mihawk takes Godsam down. If you want to approach this point, you're going to feel the pain of not turrets, but yeah, no touch. Daisy falling. That's a very easy point for VARREL, I feel.
5 minutes and 30 seconds to push this for VARREL. Invincible, this was their map choice. They wanted to pay the price of admission, and so far, they're just paying the price. They have a couple of ultimates, at least in their back pocket here. You've got Undersea, who we neglected to mention, had switched over to the Genji. Put enough damage in to get the Blade, but so far, VARREL, they're steaming ahead.
Artillery strike. Helping Nico at least take out Blink with the tech visor there. The immortality was taken down so Nico could clean up, and with these 1 or 2 picks, it's really just making Invincible struggle to group up and take a fight.
VARREL put quite a lot of ultimates into that. They have nothing for this one. Invincible, this is their fight to win. They have to stop the cart here, but Nico on the flank again.
Kivus gone. Devastating news if you're a fan of Invincible at the moment. This Blade from Undersea is probably becoming one of your last hopes. They managed to take out Cloud, now trying to chase down KSG, and KSG does actually fall here. So now Invincible, they might be able to start regrouping, get a little bit together. Cookie taken down, and yeah, finally Invincible's defense is looking stable.
That was good by Invincible. They only had to use 2 ultimates to stop VARREL's very intense push so far. Daisy still has the overclock as well. Undersea so annoyed by KSG. Gone over to the Sombra. We've seen a little bit of Sombra, mostly of course when the ball comes out. So that will make it a lot harder for KSG to be that nuisance, to be annoying, and allow for VARREL, allow for Nico to get those flanks we've been seeing. Captive Sun!
So big. Is it going to lead to anybody falling, though? The amplification matrix was shut down by Cookie pretty much, because Cookie just shot right through it. Instead, Cloud found Undersea, and that was just a complete clean sweep for VARREL.
But did VARREL pick this map?
Yeah,
No.
maybe. I mean,
It felt
look at
like
that
it though,
time
right?
bank.
Oh
Even
man,
its
maybe they got
30
like the
back.
express pass. They just got to like bypass all the lines, and Invincible, they were still fighting their way through. Oh man, that was quite brutal. VARREL played that exceptionally well. The one fight they did lose was simply because VARREL had no ultimates to their name, but that's to be expected. When you are attacking, you sort of have to keep that really intense momentum up. But the incredible thing is, even once that momentum had really died down, and it was in Invincible's favor, they had a couple of ultimates to fall back on. They even went to Sombra. None of that worked. VARREL able to continuously shut down the really big players. That Captive Sun was massive to draw out Immortality Field from Blink very early there. Invincible, they're going to have to match it. They're going to have to go just as crazy, but with the... We haven't really talked about team comps very much, but with Invincible's team comp, it is naturally more pokey, right? You are running the Sigma instead of the ball, or in this case, the Orisa. And another pause. I wonder if Blink died again. Blink's monitor's just given up.
Blink's monitor is blinking right now.
I don't think it's blinking. I think it's got its eyes shut.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, man, Invincible do not look the same as they looked on Antarctic Peninsula. They look far more, is it rude to say destructible? Like they didn't seem like any.
But they're invincible. They're supposed to be invincible.
Yeah, I know. I really do want Invincible to look as good as they did on First Point, but it certainly seems like Blizzard World was just made for VARREL. They've figured out Invincible's number here, and Invincible have to change something out.
Do you reckon they got like some premonition, like, ooh, we'll go to Blizzard World. First time APAC, first time Korean Fall Series. No, this is the time. Apara and Papadaka, they're coming to cast, and we're gonna give you Blizz. It's going back to those team comps really quickly. I'm intrigued by how Invincible are going to take an attack here. Their defense, they want not necessarily too slow of a pace, but slow enough so you can land the accretion, build up ultimate, take the fights. But at this moment in time, the way that VARREL are going, where it's more aggressive, it's more in your face. Godsam, poor guy, only has one rock to rule them all, can't take them all out. In fact, a little bit of a switch up. It seems like Nico wants to go on the defense with an Ashe, and it will be an Echo as well to boot. So It's not going to be the ball defense, which is it's understandable. It's a little bit harder to run it.
Daisy now deciding to go for Sojourn instead, and yeah, it's just going to be Invincible trying to break down, I guess KSG, if possible, catch KSG out, take someone off this high ground like Nico, find a really early pick through just your ranged poke that you've got here.
I like how Mihawk actually isn't playing the Widow. He's going over to the Ana. Must be the Ana specialist of the team. Landed a really nice anti-nade towards the beginning there, but it does continue to stop Undersea from being able to get onto that high ground super quickly.
Well, those sticky bombs onto Daisy, that was nasty. Nico following up with the dynamite onto Undersea. That first fight completely going the way of VARREL.
Yeah, it was like Invincible. You could see what they were trying to do: get enough members onto the high ground, displace, kill Mihawk and Nico as well. But they were not to be displaced whatsoever, and that's where GodSam couldn't move in too quickly, wasn't safe enough to. And KSG playing Orisa. Yes, Orisa got a couple of changes, but still as strong as ever. Daisy looking for that initial pick, but hasn't been able to pick one up just yet, especially onto the Echo, who actually had the duplicate here.
Yeah, already built up dupe. Might want to use it early, or might just want to wait till a critical moment here, Cookie. Putting a bit of pressure onto GodSam. They're focusing him down, but Immortality saved him just in time. KSG actually falling. Wasn't getting the support needed, and Daisy was able to finish them out. All of a sudden, Invincible, they're going to have a much easier approach than before. GodSam able to go on. Captive Sun as well, coming out right into Mihawk's face. Manages to catch Nico as well, but Nico takes Kivas out of the sky clouds. Captive Sun as well finds Daisy. Nano now onto Cookie, and Cookie's able to clean up these last few stragglers of Invincible.
That was really well played from VARREL. Invincible got the pick, the initial pick that they needed. They put the right ultimates into that fight there, but man, Cookie got Nano, got the duplicate as well, which just bought enough time. KSG's actually come back on the ball for this defense here. They're kind of going to be stuck on it. 1 minute and 36 seconds remaining here for Invincible to be able to take it. But Invincible, they have the ultimates. They've got Gravitic Flux. They've also got, of course, Blink as well with the Amp Matrix. They're going to take the high ground, which I think is a really good idea. But the bomb, hang on.
Bomb is completely shutting down your approach, at least slowing down your push. Now, GodSam goes down, but not before taking Cookie out with them. Maybe going to open up a line for Invincible once GodSam's back.
Yeah, but Cookie naturally, because of the flight, is faster than GodSam. So it really will come down to this final fight. Invincible, they have to win this one to make sure it doesn't go to a 2-0 here. Bring us to a flashpoint, of course. But Invincible, they have so many ultimates to burn, but they cannot get past all the poke.
You've got to think Invincible with 4 ultimates online and 1 more coming up for Kivas. You've got 5 ults, Invincible. You've got to be able to take this, please.
Come on! You've got to fight through. VARREL's minds have come down.
Yeah, Bob now on the point. It's at least going to give a tick at least to Invincible. Well, meanwhile, though, Invincible still getting harassed by KSG. Cookie taking down Daisy. Captive Sun manages to finish off Cookie there. Kivas at least finding 1 target with it. The point has nearly ticked to Invincible, but the fight's not even happening on point, really. Nico taking down 2 off point. Cloud's Captive Sun has now come out. Gravitic Flux from GodSam. Will it be enough to turn the fight to Invincible's favor with Cloud being nanoed? There is no hope. VARREL shut down 5 ults.
Man, it was almost like Invincible were trying to bring their own popcorn into a movie theater. Like, they picked the movie, they bought the tickets, but unfortunately they bought their popcorn from another source other than the movie theater. Like, nah, you can't even get past the gates, can't get through the doors, do not pass go and collect 200. In fact, you're gonna have to unfortunately go home. That was so unfortunate. They had the ultimates in the bank. They were waiting it out, but you could see consistently VARREL were able to get one of those picks And crazy enough, most of the time it was God Sam. And God Sam, of course, you have that's the one bad thing about Sigma. You have so many things with Sigma with shut down. You can eat things and you have a shield, but you cannot move quickly. So if you take out God Sam, which VARREL did very consistently, it burns time down that time bank. And yeah, you can see it here.
Listen, VARREL were the ones looking invincible that time. There was no breaking that defense, and that's really exciting to see from VARREL. Certainly looking like the team that we were expecting. So now we're going to be seeing whether Invincible can hang in there, knuckle down, and take a map after a quick break. It's Flashpoint, and Pap, VARREL are looking back on top. They're looking like the VARREL that we know and love. And now moving into Flashpoint, I feel like VARREL are going to be looking pretty to take the series.
Oh, look, of course, I don't want to be biased here, but at the moment, all the mental game, of course, the game itself, but everything at the moment is in VARREL's favor. It is up to Invincible to pick up the pieces, put that map behind them, unfortunately. We did love to see some Blizzard World, I will not deny, but that was Invincible's map pick. Yeah. And when it goes that badly for you, it is hard to get in the game, get back to Savasa, which will be our flashpoint, of course, of the first round. It's going to be tough. Everything is in VARREL's favor at the moment. It is now down to Invincible to surprise us. They do not want to get knocked out here.
Yeah, I mean, Invincible basically need to do a DAF from last night at this point and download, adjust, and flatten VARREL if they want to be able to take this here. Because, yeah, I mean, it's really VARREL, the team that's looking invincible at this point. I'm hoping to see a little bit more life in Savasa with Invincible, because ultimately, you know, it does go a little bit more like Control. It's just sort of 5 control points in a sense, and we do have some subs for Invincible as well. We've now got Leonopteryx in, so I mean, looking at that, it looks like we'll be seeing a Junker Queen.
So let's give it to them.
I mean, you saw how DAF ran, right, in the end with their flashpoint as well. They were like, okay, look, Zarya's all right, Orissa's all right, but we have seen a bit of Junker Queen. It has been working most of the time, not all the time, of course, and that's why you run, of course, most of the time you do, let's be real, but you have that Lucio to speed boost Leon in as fast and as hard as you can so that they don't have time to set up. But KSG, the way that they play, they don't need time to set up. They got all the time in the world as they are already in the backline of Invincible.
KSG just wants to displace Invincible, break them apart, then find that early dive target boop from Blink. Not allowing KSG to approach right now, and Nico getting chased down hard. Undersea trying to deflect those shots of the configuration turret, but it's not quite gonna work out for Undersea right now. No picks either side. Cloud taken down first, and Undersea happy with that. Should now open the point up to Invincible, and they should be able to take an early cap here unless Nico turns something around.
Yeah, or Cookie somehow in the back, but Invincible played that really well, nice and slow. But hang on a second, that's not slow. Mihawk picking the daisies.
Mihawk said, hey Custis, did you think about me? I might be able to take someone out. And now Nico entering in, Undersea trying to deflect once again, but Blink has taken down no supports for Invincible. And with Leon gone, VARREL take that point back quick.
Very quick. I think that's what's amazing about VARREL, especially in this series that we've seen thus far. It's like Invincible might take first cap for a little while, but VARREL are never completely out of a fight, constantly poking and also building up ults alongside what Invincible manages to do, as KSG already in the back, getting pressured quite a lot, but building up towards those mines, which is always so detrimental, especially for Invincibles that all want to be kind of grouped up here with that carry.
Looking to bring out the pulse bomb, doesn't quite need to use it, and actually a sound barrier coming out as well as a Kitsune Rush. Undersea throwing the blade. There are minefields on point though, so it's harder for Undersea to approach. So they took out the one kind of third. Cloud Captive Sun has taken down Blink, however, so VARREL is still in this fight, and actually with that pile driver onto Undersea, VARREL can completely take control back.
I think if you are invincible, you're gonna just have to let this point go now. 90% and ticking, and it's really just a Junker Queen. You don't see tanks getting staggered quite like this. If Leon goes, they don't have a tank now for the next point. As invincible, they are gonna have to let that one go. It's like I said there, Apara, somehow VARREL, there might be a couple of members down, but they never give up. They did have to expend a lot of ultimates there, though. Undersea going back over to that Sombra, the classic Sombra Tracer that we saw in our first series of Contenders. I believe Summer was a really big one for that. But no, it's with Leon, of course, with that Rampage. If they can get that into the backline onto Mihawk, this could turn the fight around.
That spawn of point was so good for VARREL, completely in their favor, forcing Invincible to have to approach VARREL here. KSG feeling really low, and actually with that Rampage, all of a sudden VARREL are feeling some pain. Leon managing to finish off Mihawk, now going to start chasing down Cloud. Nico comes out to protect with that configuration assault here, and Nico's down. Now Cloud's falling, and that's going to be Invincible taking this point.
That was really well played. You had Undersea putting a lot of pressure already, actually 50% towards their EMP. That's going to be super impactful. Of course, that's a little while away. So how are they going to defend this one? You have Daisy with the Pulse Bomb, but is that going to be enough? You've got to get it onto somebody like Mihawk, someone like Cloud, if they can get that immortality field out. Or, you know, a pressure Nico, like that.
Forcing out an immortality too. That Pulse Bomb kind of making VARREL feel like they can approach a little bit better. KSG now on this Orisa, so wants to get up close in your face with Leon. Cloud also has that Captive Sun, and we know Cloud can make some big Captive Suns happen right onto 3, but the cleanse from Kiriko, that Suzu managing to keep Invincible alive. A Kitsune Rush now, Nico and Cookie are gone, and without your DPS, damage is really not there. KSG's gone, and Invincible probably going to take our second point so far.
Yeah, I don't think VARREL should take this one. Just get ready to go to the next. As I think that was really well played by Invincible to sort of almost back up, but tend to retreat, allow VARREL to use their ults and have the immortality field, the Zuzu, excuse me, to completely cleanse, get rid of Cloud's ult entirely. And now it's a rat race, right? VARREL a little bit closer as Invincible. They have to go right around our first objective. And there's a bit of a switch here. It seems like Cookie's gone over to the Swedish meatball. I'm never against that. As there is a group up, I wonder if there's a fight even before they get onto this objective, especially with Undersea with that EMP.
This EMP could be huge for Invincible to be able to take this next fight dominantly here. Invincible just looking for a way to line it up. There it is. Right onto VARREL. Cloud falls, but Daisy got caught as well. Leon getting chased down, but that sound barrier is going to keep Leon in this game for now. KSG does have Terror Surge. Could use it if they're feeling confident enough to try and take this fight. Wants to approach, but point has gone to Invincible. So it is tipping up into the percentage. Leon now trying to get up behind these DPS. Rampage right behind you. Nico falling low. Cookie taken down. There's the DPS again, and Invincible are in control.
I don't know, VARREL, they're coming back, Cloud's back, Mihawk also getting some picks too. Somehow VARREL were able to turn that fight around over. That was spectacularly well played. And now, I do want to mention though, that Invincible, they did get point capture for a little while. So they got a nice 43% here. So by the time Invincible come back, it'll probably be pretty even Stevens across the board. Daisy actually takes out Nico. That's really, really big. You do not have to worry now if you are Invincible about a Tracer in your backline. Daisy pretty much has a Pulse Bomb for free. Where are they going to place it?
Ultimate core from Cookie, however, is going to be the first ult coming out in this fight here. KSG hoping to rush over someone from Invincible, but it's actually Kitsune Rush instead from Kivas. Kivas putting out a lot of heals, making sure that Undersea and Leon can do the work, and Man, this is a different Invincible, Pat.
Yeah, I mean, KSG naturally swapped off the ball there to, because they were getting hacked to absolute billio. And it did work, the ball, staying on the ball did actually work in something like Blizzard World, but not here where you don't have as many, I suppose, angles to get into the backline without being seen. And Undersea, you'd think would switch, but has an EMP for this last Oh my god, that's solo EMP!
Yeah, that was so rude. Probably just trying to shut down overtime, but now Cloud can come in with the Captive Sun. These cleanses from Kivas have been crucial, though, making sure that Cloud's Captive Suns aren't taking anybody out. Daisy has taken down Cookie, now finds Mihawk. KSG falling low, and that is going to be pointed. Wait, Terra Surge, never mind, Blink's taken down. I should stop counting VARREL out, because they don't count themselves out.
VARREL like, oh yeah, Rapara? No. Play-by-play this, how they completely turn. I wouldn't be surprised if Undersea switch off the Sombra here, as there's not as many really big, impactful hack targets there are off through the Genji, but they're going to get back quickly here. Invincible, they only have about 10 seconds to be able to touch to get a really good fight. Nico, of course, with that pulse bomb ready for the backline. Same as Daisy, too.
Oh, Leon's falling low, gets caught out. Nico taking them down. KSG taking out Kivas as well. This is going to be VARREL looking good. I mean, Invincible can turn it around with Undersea taking down KSG. Blink trying to get that overtime, trying to get a back cap here. Cookie making it hard for Blink to survive, though. And yeah, VARREL do manage to get that point.
So that is 2-1 in VARREL's favor. VARREL as well, very close. Very, very close to their next defense points here. Invincible, though, not to be counted out. They have a whole bunch of ults. But hang on, an ult that might be big. Never mind. I thought Nico might be going for the backline. Kind of just made the presence known a little bit, blinking away. But at least lets VARREL know where exactly Invincible are going to try and attack, right? They almost got baited into this little hallway to get picked off. If you are VARREL, that's what you're hoping for. Okay.
Nico's pulse bomb? Not quite going anywhere. yeah, definitely. Now, we've got the Captive Sun caught out by a sound barrier, so not quite leading to the damage you were hoping for. Kivas and Blink taking down 2. Cloud managing to take Daisy out of this fight, but with Kivas' Kitsune Rush, this fight is sort of Invincible's favor, but VARREL, they can make anything happen. I can't even count them out. Now there's going to be multiple, but Blink shuts down Cookie. Points is ticking up to Invincible. Leon is getting pressured down by KSG, and VARREL, they're hoping to try and take this aggressive tempo that Invincible are bringing out and turn it into their favor. So far, Invincible is stabilizing, they're staying alive, taking down Nico. Terra is not finding anyone. This fight is just absolute chaos, and Invincible are loving it because every second is going in their favor, and they come out on top.
VARREL, I know you turn a lot of fights around, but that one, they put way too much into using that Terra Surge and not switching off the Orisa either. However, Cloud and Mihawk, they're close to their support ults, and it's all really down to Invincible. How are they going to defend this? You've got Undersea able to build up a blade, which is going to have to be pretty big, especially against the likes of Mihawk and that immortality field, as well, of course, as the Ant Matrix. As VARREL, they're happy to go on a very long walk in Savasa, just checking out the sights, but Invincible, they've really clocked on. They know exactly where they're coming from.
Yeah, this sightseeing, wee little journey actually finds a Genji Undersea getting caught out, and VARREL don't really want to take this fight. They're saying, come to us. Undersea does! The blade! Take down Nico. Cloud gets found in the sky. Mihawk's down too! Undersea completely running over VARREL.
That was insane! VARREL turned their backs for 1 second to be able to touch that point. They thought they had positional advantage there, but that's where that commanding shout, adding on to a little bit of shields, helps Undersea get in so much faster. And we've seen how amazing Kivas' ults have been on the Kiriko. The Kitsune Rush just wins fights. VARREL, they need to come up with something, as it is 2-2.
Rush got shut down a little bit by Cookie's wall, not allowing Invincible to run over VARREL as much as they would hope here, but this overclock is really scaring VARREL right now, putting them into uncomfortable positions, hiding around corners. You're not allowed to approach this defense, but Cookie finds Daisy's head. Blink evens it up, taking out Cloud. VARREL, though, hoping to be able to just live in the chaos and take this fight for themselves. So far, VARREL are looking good. It's just supports from Invincible left.
Yeah, they should be able to take this, but now Invincible, what, one more fight, and they've got Flashpoint? They've put themselves in a really, really good position. Blink was able to maintain that sound barrier for this fight, as well as Leon too. They have their Rampage, so that obviously that anti-is pretty much all the team of VARREL, unless it's blocked by a Mei wall. And speaking of Mei, my goodness, they have a lot of ults for VARREL, including a Blizzard, including Nico. Can they get a pick? No, it seems like they're backing out.
It doesn't really need to get
time.
a pick, though. It's literally just play out that time. Get as much time for us as possible. So that overclock was huge. Exactly what they want. Leon, no! Grievous manages to come in, save Leon for now. Cookie, though, feeling a lot of pain. Nico finishing off Leon, and without that tank, you really need to regroup for one final fight, Pat.
Yep, 70%, but it's so much faster than Control, as we've all seen. Invincible have a couple of ults. It's Undersea's Blade, which I think will be the real game maker. We saw how awesome it was to take this very point initially here, but VARREL very happy in there. Brawly, but Blizzard stands perhaps.
The Captive Sun not working out too much because Leon's Rampage took down Mihawk. Nico falling as well. KSG hoping to take this fight, but it's Cookie down KSG. All that's left, this point is ticking over. Invincible, I don't think there's going to be a chance for VARREL to touch at this point. I think Invincible just took the map.
I think they have too. I mean, you're going to have maybe a last second touch from Mihawk. Perhaps 1 second remain. No, they've done it.
Man's Baptiste can't bounce that fast.
Back in the fight, sorry.
I just have to say, my man's Baptiste can't bounce that fast, Pat. Baptiste.
Them legs not made for speed running.
Yeah.
No, but that was actually, there's a little bit of fight now in Invincible. I mean, I was talking about that whole mental game and stuff with Invincible picking the map of Blizzard World and it all crumbling down, but clearly Invincible, they're still relatively invincible in this series, as they have taken it kind of cleanly now to a 2-1 possible reverse sweep, question mark. Are we going to get the same as yesterday?
I mean, it looks like what Def did, brought out the Junker Queen, making it work. So I think VARREL just need to pick a really good map for them. You know, I think a big thing is just going to be map pick for push. You know, certainly, I think VARREL are going to look strong, but we're going to have to see after this quick break. Invincible have found a way to break apart VARREL. The big question now becomes, will they be able to keep breaking apart VARREL, get another map to themselves as we're moving into push? Invincible really want to be able to try bring this reverse sweep.
It's definitely possible. They're kind of doing a daff at the moment. I mean, I don't want to keep like calling back all the time, but it really is a bit of deja vu, right? We're at the adapt stage. Now, can they flatten? That's what we're doing here. They're adapting really, really well. I think the Junker Queen switch was really good against VARREL, putting a lot of that pressure, a lot of that intensity almost right back at them, because you saw on Blizzard World, it was a little bit too passive, and VARREL, like, don't mind if I do, I'll take the point and push it with 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. But now it's a lot more even. In fact, yeah, as we saw last map, leaning into Invincible's favor, and it's now actually in VARREL's court to return the ball.
Yeah, VARREL, they need to be able to pick a really good map that's going to work in VARREL's favor and shut down the sort of, I guess, Junker Queen high-speed tempo where Junker Queen just wants to run over your backline, find a couple of quick picks. You know, if a good Junker Queen is performing well, as we saw with Invincible, it wins maps. I mean, I want to point out that last-minute rampage that came out from the Junker Queen. It was critical to ensure they won. That flashpoint of Cervasa.
You saw a lot, like VARREL had a lot of ultimates to play with towards that final fight there. Well, the biggest one was definitely the Blizzard, because that could have shut down even Rampage to some degree. Definitely could have shut down Undersea and their Blade. But unfortunately just got a little bit too far back. The wall wasn't in the correct space, so everyone just got to kind of like, oh, okay, it's cold over there. Didn't bring my jumper. I'm not going to go over there. Why would I do that? And I ended up just cleaning up VARREL. So to answer it, VARREL going on to Esperanza, and I'm going to do a little bit of a spoiler alert in terms of subs. It seems like Mihawk has come out and Mint's back in. So, well, what does that answer? That answer, the way that VARREL wants to answer, at the very least, is more speed. They want Lucio again. They're going to answer this aggression with more aggression, because why not fight fire with like even more fire? Maybe like a forest fire, because that's what VARREL. They had the intensity. They've backed it right off. They need to ignite again.
And so it is just going to be VARREL versus Invincible. Invincible hoping that they can take it, get that second point under their belt. Pat, it's a big ask for Invincible. VARREL is a big team to take down.
Oh, I mean, they're kind of the giants of the scene in some ways. Like they finished first in the WDG Open. They're one of the best Japanese teams pretty much in the world at the moment as well. It's always going to be tricky, but Invincible so far have been doing really, really well. They'd kind of dropped the ball in a little bit on Blizzard World. They've picked it back up. Can they run the full 9 yards? Of course they're going to keep Leon in. Why would you not, right? Keep this aggression with the Junker Queen alive. As Nico coming out on the Bastion, of course Mint is taking that Lucio pick as well. So it's a lot of damage from VARREL, but they do have to play slower. Can this slow tempo work in VARREL's favor, or will the aggression completely stomp them from Invincible?
Leon is just once again looking for that first target, but with where Nico was positioned. Okay, Nico, just jump off the high ground, start running into Invincible. Deflex trying to stop this configuration assault at the moment, and yet doesn't lead to too much. Daisy's flank, however, could be good, trying to find these supports, managing to put a lot of pain onto Cloud, and Undersea's able to dash right through. Cloud taken down, Nico falling low now, gets deflected and taken out. KSG falling low, and they will get finished off there as sure the bot's going the other way, but Invincible are winning the fight.
Yeah, it's just the way that Invincible are playing against VARREL at the moment is just, it's a real head scratcher for VARREL to try and answer. Their comp for VARREL is they want to be close together. They want to be all targeting the same person or hero in this respect. But Invincible, you can see how much they flank. You had Daisy go on the flank and put pressure onto Cloud, and then Undersea was like, man, don't mind if I do, and went right in and to finish off Cloud. And after that, who's going to keep the Bastion alive? No switches as of yet, though, as VARREL, they're going to be rolling out. They need to stop the bot before it hits the first objective here.
KSG going up onto that high ground, trying to get into VARREL's home, and Cookie as well, trying to just push Invincible back a little bit, gain a bit of space, enter into this fight. So far, Invincible really good at just falling back, making sure they're staying alive. Kivus now helping out Undersea, wanting to try and throw that Kitsune rush down. Undersea and Leon are using it. It paid so much dividends as the VARREL, they're going to just fall again. I mean, I know they can clutch it up last second, but with how low that health is, it's not happening this time.
No, these clutches are few and far between at the moment. VARREL, at the very least, they're coming back with a couple of ultimates at the moment, but this is now just Invincible's game here with this speed. And you've got Undersea, of course, with the Blade. You've nearly got a Rampage as well. Daisy getting very close to that overclock, and this is where you can keep this snowball effect going.
Blade from Undersea coming out. It's taking down Mint. Mint wasn't able to build a sound barrier in time. Cookie taken down too. KSG is throwing the Terror Surge out. Manages to catch Undersea down, and that bot does go back into VARREL's favor for now.
Yeah, VARREL as well. It's important to point out that they were able to stop it just before that cap, which would mean Invincible would get front spawns and be a little bit harder for VARREL to push it much further. But here, VARREL should be able to take some good space here. They should take the high ground, should make it harder for Invincible, but it seems like Invincible, they're going to take it very easily anyway. But Cookie, with that blade, they need to get a big one like Undersea.
Here it comes. It's going to try find that Kiriko, but it's Undersea falling first thanks to KSG. Putting a little bit of pressure down onto Undersea now without your Genji. It's a little bit harder to try take these fights here. Leon feels the difficulty as they're trying to go in, manages to get saved by Kivas for now. Leon holding that rampage, might want to throw it out, but KSG's chasing you from behind. Mint sound barrier in the hallway, not quite connecting onto everyone, but it doesn't matter because Nico and Cookie are able to take down two and get this fight once again in VARREL's control.
Yeah, that Leon had a nice rampage there, but most of it was beat away, and even the heroes that weren't, they were able to push away Leon from being able to solidify any of those kills, and VARREL now in complete control. This Invincible, Apara, will they get back before first cap? They're holding a very aggressive position here, VARREL, but with the speed boost, it's pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, once again, they do manage to take the lead of VARREL, but don't get that cap just yet. Daisy's overclock. Not really finding any targets, not sure where anyone's hiding, and doesn't want to peek out that implication matrix. Cloud and Nico, however, taking names. They're going to get forward spawn here, and VARREL are now taking the lead, taking control, and hoping to push Invincible right back to spawn.
They've also definitely kept taking control of the ultimates, and how Invincible, they only had won that fight really, and that was with the overclock from Daisy, but couldn't get enough picks. VARREL, despite having to constantly defend their position on Philip the bot, they still have KSG with their Terror Surge. Is KSG just hiding, ready to go for that Terror Surge? Like, come on, Invincible, come on, guys! And then just completely drop a tree on them.
KSG was looking to find it, but unfortunately now has to show themselves because the bot has gone around that corner. And actually, this is really good positioning for Invincible now. They can start to take a little bit more control of the bot, but that Javelin is going to shut down Leon's approach a little bit. Blade finds Mint up on the wall there. Now trying to get up to Nico, but Nico can just burn you down with that configuration assault. Now the configuration artillery is coming out. Multiple modes of Bastion seen. Sound barrier saves everyone from the Terror Surge, but now KSG not getting the value they were quite hoping for when they were hiding for that Terror Surge. And actually Invincible, they might be able to start approaching the backline, even with their amplification matrix, actually being able to heal up KSG. Nico putting in a lot of damage, and Leon's gone. Daisy caught out. Invincible collapsing again.
Invincible is collapsing despite the use of so many ultimates. I think a big one is Cookie has the blade for this pretty much final fight. Invincible, you have to stop the bot to stay in this match.
Listen, they've got 3 minutes 30. There might be some hope for Invincible.
Maybe.
They definitely can at least press W and touch that bot. Kitsune Rush. Sound barrier is going to make it a little bit harder to get the value you want out of that Kitsune Rush because there's just so many more shields. Cookie looking for the perfect opportunity to use a blade and clean sweep Invincible, get a little bit more progress, but Daisy's now built up this overclock. If they want to pop it and try and take down a couple of players, they certainly can. Blade taking Daisy up first. No overclock available for you now at all. Leon falling, Undersea getting pushed into a corner, and even though the Suzu keeps them alive, I think it's only going to be temporarily.
Oh my goodness.
Undersea is bouncing on everyone's heads.
Another Amp Matrix as well is out. Mint taking down Kivas. This is so much pressure, but VARREL, they're taking this a little bit slow.
Yeah, I mean, you need to, you know your positioning's not great. There's going to be a lot of damage, but now Cookie's positioning, finding two, opening up the floodgates for VARREL to clean up these remaining few players of Invincible, and VARREL showing Invincible why they are Team Japan in the World Cup, showing them why they've been so good in Contenders, taking our series 3-1.
Oh, VARREL woke up. I think they poked a bear there. They're Invincible in Flashpoint, and it was at one point even in push, it seems like Invincible with that aggressive playstyle was really working well, but then all of a sudden VARREL turned it around, consistently had the better ult economy, throughout. Even when they were down 1 or 2 players, they still had the ults to turn a fight around. And I mean, Cookie absolutely popping off on whatever hero, but especially on the Genji, getting those blades, getting those 2 really quick picks into that last fight, that even if the spawn room is very, very close, you can still push Philip all the way. And man, VARREL, they were sweating bullets, I'm sure, after that flashpoint, but they can go and wipe those their foreheads now and get ready for the 3rd match, as they've made it now. And unfortunately, Invincible, they're not so invincible. They're now vincible. Yeah.
Unfortunately for Invincible, they are now out of the Contenders Fall Series, but certainly put on a show to show us why they deserve to continue coming through that lower bracket, being positioned where they were, that second part of the lower bracket. Invincible, certainly, they weren't a team to laugh at, that's for sure, but VARREL did come out on top definitely here. And as you said, that now means we get to see some more VARREL in our 3rd match, because VARREL did win, and someone else who won was that Cookie player of the match, taking our player of the match here. And I mean, Cookie was so critical. So many of their plays, especially these blades, were crucial in turning fights into VARREL's favor. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, into dubs. I mean, consistently, right? You could rely on Cookie, mostly on the Genji, but no matter where else, they were able to, there you go, on the Echo as well. They were able to clean up fights, even just once their team was made down 2 picks, they were able to come back in, help KSG, take out tanks, take out the supports in the back, and it was just so good to see.
A lot of those little last-minute chaotic fights that we saw with VARREL were because of Cookie with KSG, A lot of the time, Cookie was able to, just find a couple of weird picks, and then KSG was able to finish them off, So, I have to say, Cookie was so critical for VARREL there in getting that win. That has now moved them up into our sort of semi-finals of the lower bracket. Of course, we need to find out who they're going to be going up against, which will be our next match, 4-Eyed Freaks versus NGUK.
This one will also be really, really close, I reckon. I also want to point out, during that Player of the Match highlight, we didn't quite catch it, but there was actually an Ajax there, there you go. It was the Player of the Match for a reason, shutting down a huge sound barrier that might have protected Invincible, but now VARREL as invincible as ever now, as they will move over to the, as you said, the semi-finals. And man, 4-Eyed Freaks versus NGUK, Apara, it's gonna be a tough one, right, for either team. 4-Eyed Freaks, they haven't really played for a little while now. Obviously the meta hasn't developed exponentially. We haven't just suddenly played Roadhog, but it has developed in the sense that Zarya is almost a must pick. So we'll see, have they been able to work their way around it all?
Yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest question, is how have 4-Eyed Freaks adapt to this new meta? We've seen NGUK. We saw they like to run Orisa quite a bit. Tomato seemed to love the Orisa yesterday. And if we see either a Junker Queen again or Zarya, that could break apart the Orisa comp that NGUK are hoping to run. So there's going to be some big question marks for both teams. How have 4-Eyed Freaks adapt? How are NGUK going to be able to handle 4-Eyed Freaks? And certainly it's going to be, I think, like you said, quite a close match. I think we might see, once again, another push map. Maybe we get the blessing of seeing Escort.
+5, all 5, yeah. Whatever happens in whatever way, those 2 teams, whoever wins, will have to go up against a very happy VARREL. So congratulations to VARREL. We will see how these 2 teams go head to head just after this break. Stay tuned.